So now we're getting into standing series repertoire in the manual. Each exercise includes focus, setup, execution, breath, key cues, modifications, variations, benefits, and historical content. Elephant. Who wants to read the focus of elephant?
Hamstring flexibility, core engagement, and shoulder stability.
Good, so the foot bar is up. My recommendation is 2 red, make them work on classical springs. However, you guys felt how heavy that is to push out on 2 red. It is recommended 1 to 2. The headrest would technically go down because they would be preparing for long stretch series. Pardon me, no, headrest is up for long stretch series. Headrest is down because of short box series, where the box goes. That's what I meant. You stand on the carriage, feet hip width, heels against the shoulder blocks, hands on the foot bar, arms straight, spine in a rounded C curve. Now, what is a safety fail for elephant is if you don't cue thumbs with fingers. Why this? Why is that? Because that's a very classical thing.
They accidentally lift the foot bar.
That's absolutely it. Not on all contemporary machines though. On contemporary apparatus, it's not always valid, and yet we're still going to cue it that way. Because on a lot of contemporary machines, in order to actually move the foot bar, you've got to be in front, yanking it up to pull it down. And the yank has to be forward. Like on my machine at home, I still cue thumbs with fingers, but like there's no way anyone's working her backwards. No way. Because of the way it hooks from behind, from down under. Right? But we on classical, you have to. Especially you see the Gratz one, right? So, execution. I want you to write by the execution, make sure that it's only a half press out for the first couple. I only want them to press halfway out, because if you allow them to press all the way, they're pushing through the arms into plank by default, because they don't know elephant. They're not going to know elephant for a couple classes, right? And it's not their fault. It's a weird ask, right? So, breath, inhale, engage, extend, inhale to return, right? Inhale to prepare, engage, exhale, extend, inhale to return. Key cues, keep the heels down, spine rounded, move from the lower abs, not the hip flexors, maintain shoulder stability, no hyperextending the arms. Now, I want to look under variations. Where it says use one leg for increased challenge, I want you to put a bracket around there and write intermediate single-legged elephant. But there is a preparatory for foundational. I might show you, I might not. And if I don't, I can always video it. If you look under history, you guys just came out of math. Remember how we talked so much about the trunk, the trunk, the trunk, the trunk? This is teaching that, right? The core to limb coordination, spinal awareness. I want you to add in trunk. Trunk awareness.
Sorry, where are we writing that?
Under history.
Oh, okay. The trunk.
The trunk awareness.
Could I be annoying and ask another question?
Absolutely.
How strict is the breath patterns in some of these exercises?
It's not a breathing exercise. So on all exercises, remember that's one thing we talked in that, don't cue the breath unless it's a breathing.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get it wrong and you don't want to overtalk.
I just find for me with elephant, when I inhale on the out and exhale on the in, I can exhale and really get into my shape. Would that be wrong to switch the breath pattern?
No, it would not be wrong, but it would be considered a modification.
Okay.
Because you are modifying to help them get in, but it's not wrong.
Okay.
Absolutely not. And you make a note of it before they get up into elephant. Guys, today, I want you to follow the breathing exactly as I say, because it's going to help you get into the articulate shape we're going for. It's the same, I don't know if anyone's been in my classes the last couple of weeks. where I've been doing so much ab work on a low dropped line of pull that I take them right into short spine massage, but I do it with 3 different breath patterns to open up their back.
I get that.
I think you and Austin might have.
Yeah.
And 2 of those breath patterns are classical and 1 is contemporary.
So you just kind of like say, like I'm kind of going off the
Yeah.
classical path here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it opens the back so nicely, right? And I can see, like, if I overdo it in abs for a reason, then I need to make sure the back is open enough for those abs to sink down, right? Okay, so if you flip the page, we've got knee hovers. If you flip the page after that, we've got round back. If you flip the page, straight back, and then you've got knees off, right? Now, the knee hover is not technically classical repertoire, so you can put her either before or after. It doesn't matter, right? And again, on your exam, you don't need to do a knee hover, right? You would go from elephant, round back, straight back, knees off.
Oh, okay.
The knee hover is a prep thing. It's a modifier. It's a breaking it down.
Okay.
Right?
So, yeah, so you don't have to do the hover.
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. And that legitimately is your standing series. It's very simple. It's a nice series to learn. So some safety concerns, people's faces hitting the springs. Or the foot bar. Why would that even happen if you're moving them slowly? It shouldn't. It wouldn't, right? People have a hard time keeping their legs straight. A lot of bent knees. A lot of bent knees. You want to work towards that straightness, which is why if I know I'm teaching elephant, you know that blind where I turned you around and I said put your foot on the foot bar? I love doing that in footwork if I know I'm doing standing series. Now I usually don't omit standing series in this studio. In other studios I do, because maybe that's not the theme of the week or the flavor of the dish, or maybe they're not super safe. You wouldn't believe how many people, if I say, we're moving into your standing series, once your hands are on the foot bar, do not let go. And they let go and they take their shirt off, or they let go and they fix their ponytail, or they take their claw clip and they're doing, Jesus, take the wheel. You cannot be free float standing on a moving bed. What the actual? It scares me. So if that happens too much, I just eliminate the series. And so I haven't been teaching elephant for a while at the Contemporary Studio, actually. Also, people can get vertigo.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're over workshopping it, you know, and I had a woman at the Contemporary Studio where I was leading them from what you are learning to intermediate elephant, which is single leg and side leg. And because I was teaching it to them, we were there a little bit longer, and she was fine. And then when it came after feet and straps and running and pelvic lift, and then she's like, oh, I'm dizzy, and she stayed about 20 to 30 minutes into my next class lying on the couch. And I had eyes on her. Like I've done my first aid, CPR, blah, but I had eyes on her. Because I'm like, is it vertigo? Right? Like we have liquid fluid in our ears that can unbound, but it could have been a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't know. I didn't let my head play games on me, but I made sure she was okay to drive home before she did. And then I had her check in with me 2 hours later, and then 5 hours later, and then 8 hours later, because it was a morning class. Well, whenever she's in class now, I don't do elephant, not because I'm scared to, because after the fact, she let me know she gets migraines. So I probably induced a migraine by teaching her intermediate elephant. That's not what I want. I don't need the repertoire that badly to stay classical, you know, so be mindful, right? So now, you're gonna go through in your partner groups, right? Stay with the same groups as yesterday, and then work through these pieces of repertoire. In order, read the cues, make the notes. If you've got any questions, write it down on the side, all good. And then we're gonna move on to short box series. Standing series is so easy. Actually, the 4 pieces of repertoire, right? All right, away you go, have fun with it, write in your manuals.